Have you ever asked yourself why, despite being kind and good-hearted, you were still rejected? The image is all too familiar. You sit across from her on a first date. You listen carefully to every word. You smile often, trying to make her feel comfortable. You speak gently and politely, hoping she will recognize the goodness in you. But then her eyes begin to drift away. The light you saw at the start begins to fade. The conversation grows more and more forced. And after that date, the message you sent never receives a reply. In that moment, you ask yourself a painful question. What did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? That question cuts deep into the heart of every man. From a young age, you were taught that if you want to be loved, you must be kind. You must give more. You must be a good man. But then you realize the truth is not that simple. Because if kindness alone were enough, you would not be sitting here wondering why your heart still feels empty. The reality is that the advice "be nice" is only half the truth. Women still say they want a good man, someone caring, someone protective. But what they rarely admit is that kindness only matters when it comes from a man they already feel attracted to. A flower may be beautiful, but if it is offered to someone who never once looked your way, it means nothing. The harder you try to prove your goodness, the smaller you begin to feel. And in that moment of realization, you see a truth no one taught you. Kindness has never been the first door. It only matters once you have already stepped through another one. The real question you must ask yourself is no longer, how do I become a better man? The question is, what makes me attractive in the first place? If kindness is not enough, then what is the first door? Attraction comes before kindness. Kindness is not meaningless. It matters, but only when attraction has already been established. Without that spark, your kindness becomes invisible. Look at how the human brain truly works. It does not begin with reason. It does not sit down and analyze a checklist before deciding who is worth moving closer to. What chooses first is emotion. Reason only comes afterward, searching for excuses, justifications, and stories to explain the feelings that were already there. That is why you can meet someone who looks perfect on paper, stable, responsible, kind, yet you feel nothing. And it is also why you can be drawn to someone who seems completely unsuitable. Desire moves faster than thought. The heart chooses before the mind even has the chance to speak. Carl Jung once said that people do not truly connect with each other's outer selves, but rather with the reflection of inner energy. In other words, when someone is drawn to you, they are not only responding to who you are, they are responding to the vitality that radiates from within you. Nietzsche echoed this in his own way, reminding us that the essence of life is a current of energy longing to be expressed. Attraction is not about how nice you are. It is about whether you are truly alive. And here lies the unexpected twist most men never realize. You can be a good man, caring and giving, but without attraction you remain unseen. Kindness without magnetism is like speaking in a silent language no one can hear. That is why so many men get stuck. They try harder and harder to be nice, believing that more effort will finally earn them love. Yet they fail to see that kindness has never been the opening move. The first door is always attraction. Without it, kindness will forever be overlooked. So the real question is this: if you cannot make others feel drawn to you from the start, how will they ever notice the warmth and goodness you carry inside? The harsh but undeniable truth is simple. If you do not create attraction, your kindness will never be seen. Which leads us to the next challenge. If attraction is the first door, where does it actually begin? The answer is simpler than you think. It begins with what everyone notices the very first time they meet you. First impressions and appearance. Attraction does not begin with charming words or the kindness you try to prove. It begins with what everyone notices immediately. Your appearance, the way you show up, the mark you leave in the very first glance. Your body is your temple. It reflects how you treat yourself. A strong, healthy body is not only about aesthetics. It signals discipline, willpower, and self-respect. The clothes you wear are like a flag you raise every time you step into the world. People may not yet know who you are, but they will look at how you dress, how you carry yourself, how you take care of small details, and from that, they will make judgments. Imagine walking into a meeting or a date. Your shoes are dirty, your shirt is wrinkled, the scent of sweat lingers from a long day. You might think these are small details, but to the person in front of you, they immediately kill any spark of attraction that might have begun to form. A first impression never has a second chance, and sometimes a single overlooked detail can close the door before you even knock. Taking care of yourself is not about being the most handsome man in the room. It is a silent declaration that says, "I respect myself." When you enter a space with a clean body, tidy clothes, and steady posture, you do not need to say much. Your presence speaks for you. And here is the truth that surprises many men. Attraction is not about bulging muscles or expensive clothes. It lies in the energy you radiate. A man who respects himself, who invests in his presence, sends out a powerful message: I am worthy. I matter. Appearance and first impressions are the keys that open the first door. They are not everything, but they decide whether you get the chance to step inside at all. But remember this: appearance only opens the door. What truly keeps her there is not the shirt you wear or the fragrance you chose. It is the words you speak, and even deeper, the emotions those words awaken in her heart. The power of words. After the door has been opened by appearance and first impressions, what keeps her there is not the clothes you wear or the smile you gave at the start. It is in the way you speak, and even deeper, in the emotions your words create. This is where most men stumble. Men often communicate in a masculine way: short, clear, focused on information. It is the language of logic. I speak, you understand, transmission complete. But women, for the most part, communicate to a different rhythm. They are not only listening to the words, but to the melody of emotion behind them. For them, a conversation is not just about understanding the content. It is about feeling the heartbeat of the other person. Picture two guitars placed side by side. One string is plucked, vibrating strongly. A moment later, the strings of the other guitar begin to hum as well, without ever being touched. That is resonance. That is how true emotional communication works. When you speak in a way that stirs feeling, the heart of the listener begins to vibrate with yours. Take a simple word like please. Spoken weakly, it sounds like begging. Spoken coldly, it becomes a threat. Spoken with confidence and a spark in your eyes, it turns into a seductive invitation. The same word, yet the power lies in the emotion you pour into it. Men often believe they need to say something smart, something logical to impress. But logic only allows you to be understood. Emotion allows you to be connected. A woman may forget the exact words you used, but she will never forget the feeling you left inside her. So the real question you must ask is not, did I say it correctly, but did she actually feel what I wanted her to feel? Are you speaking to be understood? Or are you speaking to be felt when a woman remembers you? It is not because of perfect phrasing. It is because of the echo left in her heart. The warmth, the spark, the vibration, your voice, your eyes, your presence placed within her. This is an art no classroom will ever teach you. Yet it is what determines whether you gain access to a woman's private world. When you learn to make a conversation into a piece of music, you and she step into a space where only the two of you exist, a small world, cut off from the rules outside. In that space, connection is born not from reason, but from hearts resonating together. And yet, while the essence of connection lies in emotion, many men still cling to a very old illusion. The illusion that money is the shortcut, the real key to attracting and keeping a woman. Money cannot keep her. Many men believe that money is the quickest path to a woman's heart. With money, you can take her to fine restaurants, sit in the VIP section, order the most expensive bottles. Eyes will turn toward you, and yes, attention will follow. But stop and ask yourself, does that attention come from true attraction? Money is only a proxy, a temporary substitute for real magnetism. It can open a door for a moment, but it is never the root. True attraction does not live in your bank balance. It lives in the energy you carry when you walk into a room. Picture two scenes side by side. A successful businessman sits in the VIP lounge, surrounded by flashing lights, throwing money around to prove his status. Across town, a nameless musician plays an old guitar in the corner of a bar, singing a song that silences the entire room. Which of these two men truly touches a woman's heart? The one who can buy everything, or the one who can make her feel here lies the harsh truth? Money can buy attention, but it can never buy desire. A woman may look at you with curiosity because of your wealth, but that glance will fade quickly if there is no deeper attraction behind it. What keeps her is not the leather seats or the expensive wine, but the way she feels in your presence. So ask yourself honestly, is she drawn to you or to your wallet? If money is the only thing holding her close, then you are nothing more than a walking wallet. And a wallet, sooner or later, will be replaced by a bigger one when it walks through the door. If money cannot keep a woman, then what does the answer lies in something fragile yet incredibly powerful. A world built not on logic or wealth, but on illusion. The illusion in love. Attraction in the beginning does not come from her knowing exactly who you are. On the contrary, it often begins with an illusion. When a woman first looks at you, she does not see your full reality. She notices a fragment, a posture, a glance, a smile, and the rest is filled in by her own imagination. You are like a mirror. In it, she sees her hopes, her desires, her dreams reflected back. She is not in love with you just yet. She is in love with the image she has created in her mind when she looks at you. In that moment, you become the main character in the story she is writing for herself. But here is where many men destroy their own magnetism. They sit down on the first date and talk too much. They try to prove their value, list their achievements, explain their qualities. What they do not realize is that every extra detail they give slowly erodes the space her imagination had built for them. The truth is that early attraction does not grow from raw facts. It grows from the gap, from the mystery, from what has not yet been explained. That very incompleteness is fertile soil for her imagination, and imagination is what fuels desire. A woman may walk into a date believing you are strong, intriguing, and magnetic, but if you overshare to convince her, she will quickly see you as someone trying too hard. The the illusion collapses, and with it, the attraction fades as quickly as it came. If you erase the illusion too soon, you kill the magnetism, because she is not sitting there to hear the whole truth about you. She is sitting there with the hope that you might be the man she has been searching for. And that hope, that fantasy, is what draws her close. But remember, illusions cannot last forever. Sooner or later, the mirror will crack, and when it does, the truth will stand exposed. That moment may push some people away. Yet for those who are patient and genuine, it is in that very moment that real love finally begins. When disappointment knocks, no relationship can escape the moment of disappointment. It arrives as an inevitable milestone, like a test that every love must face. In the beginning, everything is bathed in the glow of novelty. She sees you through the lens of imagination, through the illusion she created herself. But sooner or later, the mask falls, and your true light is revealed. That moment often terrifies men, because when your flaws, your limits, your shadows are exposed, you fear she will walk away. Yet the truth is, this disappointment is not the end. It is the beginning of what is real. When the curtain drops, love truly begins. Because real love does not live in perfection. It is proven when she sees your imperfections and still chooses to stay. When she knows that you can be weak at times, lazy at times, uncertain at times, and still wants to hold your hand, that is when love is real. The philosophy here is clear. A relationship built on illusion will eventually collapse. But a relationship tested through disappointment becomes stronger. Disappointment is like a fire. It burns away the fantasy, but it also forges a deeper bond. So the question for you is this: do you have the courage to let her see who you really are? Not the polished version, not the mask you try to maintain, but you completely, imperfectly, yourself. If your answer is yes, then you are ready for what comes next. Because from this point forward, the relationship is no longer about initial attraction or the magic of fantasy. It becomes an exchange of value, a conscious choice, where both people see each other clearly and decide if there are enough reasons to keep walking the path together. The real exchange of value. When the illusion is faded and disappointment has knocked, the relationship enters an entirely new stage. This is no longer about imagination or initial attraction. It is the moment when two real people stand face to face, seeing both strengths and flaws and asking what keeps us together now. The answer lies in value. In every relationship, each person brings something to the table. That value may be physical attraction, emotional or financial security, excitement and adventure, or deep emotional support. Love is not only about floating feelings, it is also an invisible marketplace, where each person offers something in exchange for what they need from the other. Picture yourself walking through a market. Every stall represents a person. One stall offers beauty and allure, another offers stability, another promises adventure, another radiates warmth and care. Where you choose to stop depends on what you truly need in that season of your life. And here is the uncomfortable truth: value is not permanent. It changes with the stages of life. In your 20s, the most attractive qualities are often physical charm and novelty. By your 30s, as responsibilities grow heavier, the craving shifts towards safety and stability. And by your 40s and beyond, the most cherished value becomes companionship, understanding, and someone who will walk with you through both the calm days and the storms. You may have drawn people in with your smile, your looks, your youthful energy at 20, but at some point, if you rely only on that, You will realize it is no longer enough to keep anyone by your side. What people seek has changed, and if the value you bring no longer matches their needs, the balance tips elsewhere. This is the harsh but necessary reality. Love is also an exchange. No one stays with someone from whom they feel they receive nothing meaningful. Attraction may open the door, but lasting connection depends on the value you provide that makes staying worthwhile. So the question for you is this today: what real value are you offering to the one beside you? Is it only a fleeting attraction, or do you bring safety, understanding, and emotional support, the deeper needs every person longs for across the long road of life? Because if you cannot answer this question, you will remain stuck in the cycle of short-lived relationships. And from here, we reach an even more difficult truth. In the modern world, where expectations collide and multiply, this exchange of value has transformed into a paradox that leaves many people exhausted. The paradox of modern love. When it comes to love in today's world, people often carry enormous expectations. You don't just want a partner to be a lover, you also expect them to be your best friend, your confidant, your source of support, your inspiration, your family. One person is asked to carry the weight of an entire village. You want them to give you security so you can trust in a long-term bond, yet you also demand passion as fiery as the very first days. You want the certainty of a home, while craving the unpredictability of an adventure. You want a passionate lover, yet at the same time a faithful companion who brings peace. This is the paradox of modern love. You want a candle that can burn steadily forever, while also exploding brightly like fireworks. But the laws of nature do not allow both states to exist at once. Many enter relationships hoping for completeness. But disappointment follows when they realize that burning passion rarely exists alongside absolute safety. They feel something is missing, so they search elsewhere for what their current partner cannot provide. And this cycle breaks countless relationships, not because love disappears, but because the expectations were never realistic. The truth is, you cannot have everything at the same time. What you can do is learn balance. A lasting relationship is a delicate dance between stability and passion, between calm and intensity. At times, love will resemble a quiet candle, and at other times it will burst like fireworks. The key is not to freeze it in one state, but to let both extremes nourish each other. This is the paradox modern people must learn to live with. And once you accept it, you stop tormenting yourself over why you don't have it all. You begin to see love not as an impossible ideal, but as a journey of balance. Which is why the fastest way to free yourself from frustration is not by chasing a perfect person out there. It begins within you. In how you adjust your expectations, and in how you grow mature enough to realize that real love does not need to be perfect. It only needs to be enough for two people to keep walking forward together. The fastest way. In the end, the fastest way to attract a beautiful woman is not through tricks, tactics, or some secret formula. It is by becoming a man who is alive with energy, magnetic from the inside out. You have seen it already. Kindness is necessary, but it only matters when attraction leads the way. Appearance, how you care for yourself, opens the first door. Words, the way you create emotional resonance, are what keep her inside. Money may buy attention, but it cannot hold desire. And when the illusion breaks, only one thing remains: the true value you bring into the relationship. The fastest way is not about shortcuts. The fastest way begins with you. Because when you become a man who respects himself, who strengthens both the outside and the inside, You no longer need to chase anyone. Your presence alone becomes an irresistible invitation. Etch this truth into your mind. Be attractive first, then be kind, then be loving. Because if you skip the first step, every effort afterward loses its power. And here is the final twist you must remember. A beautiful woman is not drawn to the effort you make when you strain to prove yourself. She is drawn to the man you are when you live as your truest self. Your sincerity, your confidence, your freedom. These are what make you magnetic beyond any clever words or expensive gifts. So ask yourself right now, if not today, then when will you allow yourself to become the man you have always longed to be? This is not a journey of a day or a week or even a month. It is the journey of a lifetime. But the first step always begins today. And if you saw yourself in what I shared, if you know you too are walking the path to rediscover your attraction and your truth, then don't leave. Subscribe, because this is only the beginning, and there are many more doors waiting for you to open.